Hey there, my name is Harrison Greenough. I'm a realtor in Maryland, and I'm making a video series here to help you guys figure out how to put in a really strong offer and, in general, what the offer contains, and explain each document so that you fully understand it before you sign those documents, and to help, for example, buyers and sellers that are working without an agent to understand them, because ultimately, although I am a real estate agent and I write these contracts every day, I want you guys to have the ability to understand them even if you aren't using an agent. So look through our videos, rewind them, replay them, and if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me directly. Thanks, and let's get started. When purchasing a condominium, it's very important to be aware that the seller is required to provide in the contract a pair of documents which are called 1, the condominium resale notice, and 2, the resale condominium unit acknowledgement form. They both must be included. HOAs are similar, but those are two separate forms, which we'll go over in a separate video. The first of these two condominium documents starts as all others. They have the names and the dates and the condominium unit, etc. But part 1, so this notice applies where the condominium project contains at least 7 units. It is required by law to furnish to the buyers not later than 15 days prior to the closing. This must be included in the contract by default. It's very, very important. 1, a copy of the declaration, not the plat, that doesn't need to be there. 2, a copy of the bylaws. 3, a copy of the rules and regulations. 4, a certificate from the Council of Unit Owners, which includes A through J, which I recommend looking at because they're specific to each individual condominium. So the things that apply you must have in these documents. Sellers, when you purchase the property, you almost certainly received this from the previous seller when you bought it. 5, a statement by the unit owner as to whether the unit owner has knowledge to A, B, C, if there are alterations, any violations, if there's an extended lease, etc., etc. So you need to disclose as much as you can about the condominium unit, as condominium associations often have very large rule books and things that you can and cannot do, including whether or not you can lease the property, whether or not you can alter the interior of the property, especially regarding the exterior. Sometimes you can't do anything to the exterior, what the responsibility of the condominium association is. Very important things to know about as a buyer. 6, a written notice of the unit owner's responsibility for the Council of Unit Owners property insurance deductible. So what the deductible is. This is really important for the insurance because this has to do with the condominium association. So the buyer needs to be notified of this. The second section is a notice that applies where the condominium contains 6 or less units. The seller is required by law to furnish no later than 15 days prior to closing. 1, the declaration. 2, the bylaws. 3, the rules and regulations. 4, statement by seller of his expenses relating to common elements during the preceding 12 months. And then 5, a written notice of the unit owner's responsibility regarding the insurance deductible. So slightly less if it's 6 or less units, but most condominium units will have more than 7 units in my experience. So generally it will regard part 1, but if it's less, you have less to provide. And if these are not presented to the buyer, the contract may be null and void because it was not disclosed to the buyer. So sellers, you have to be careful and be sure to disclose this. The second article that needs to be included in the documents, the second of the 2 documents, is the resale of condominium unit acknowledgement. There are, again, 2 parts, and it's very important that these are included. They are very similar, but they essentially go over what the specific obligations, responsibilities are, and it is a received notice is required in the Maryland Condominium Act. Essentially, it states that if the condominium projects 7 or more units, you are required to provide A through J, 5, A through C, as we discussed before, and 6. And then part 2 is similar. If the condominium has 6 or less units, 1 through 5 need to be included. So both of these 2 documents need to be included, always, if it's a condominium resale. Very important, and the seller must furnish these items. So if you're purchasing a condominium, be sure to have these in the contract. Thanks again for watching. If you have any questions or you would like to talk about potentially buying or selling a property, please feel free to contact me. My information is below and I would love to reach out to you and talk. So feel free to contact me and have a great rest of your day.